Welcome one and all, D-Unknown here, back again, bringing you my reaction to the second half of Phineas and Ferb Season 5, starting today with Episode 11. So the day I'm recording this is July 19th, 2025, so actually a month and a half since I reacted to the first 10 episodes, and from then till now, let's just say that there is a lot to say. My mind was racing at breakneck speed today, so before we get into the actual reaction, I essentially wrote down what I wanted to say in point form before we begin today. So I was contemplating how I'd go about recording my reactions for the rest of this season, given the news that episodes from here on out will be releasing weekly and or periodically. More on that in a bit. I'm still workshopping my workflow, but I do have a few ideas of what I can do for now. Next, I want to say that I had a bit of an audio hiccup when it came to getting my audio set up, where I essentially misconfigured my settings and was in a scramble to fix it. Essentially, it was an issue on my part, and as a result, the very first bit of the first episode, I ended up not being able to record properly. So I actually ended up recording it on my TV with my phone, since I scheduled the episode to be recorded on Disney Channel, which I realize that I do have now. You'll barely even notice it, and key lesson from this experience, things can and do go wrong. And enjoying amazing moments like these, to be clear, we're living through a spectacular era with weekly releases right now. When it comes to enjoying these moments, your specific ability to enjoy those moments becomes much more robust if you take a recovery-based approach rather than harping on things being perfect and subsequently going wrong. Energy dedicated to that is ultimately not useful. You may have heard of taking the high road, but I like to call this the Milo road, aka adapting to Milo Murphy's Law. And through that, you can actually use those mistakes to further benefit you in ways you might not even imagine had you not made that mistake in the first place, as I can connect my experiences with getting this all set up to the actual reactions themselves, which further enhance them. And this segues us very nicely to a brief discussion about Season 5B that I want to have. So the 11th to 18th episodes will release weekly on Disney Channel, with no news that I know of at least about the final 2 episodes, which leads me to believe it might actually be a 2-part special to close out the season. As such, I aim to release these reaction videos within the week before the next one is out, so this video should be out by next Saturday when the next episode comes out. Editing these episodes doesn't really take that long. With the workflow I had with Disney Plus, I actually managed to start accumulating scheduled uploads to the point where I had 3, then 4 ready to go at one time. So it really should come out sooner than that, but at very latest, I would like to get these videos out before the next episode premieres on Disney Channel. A point of gratitude that I really want to make here is to give you all thanks for all of your support on my reaction videos thus far. My channel has never had such an algorithmic boom ever before. I know my sub count doesn't reflect it, and especially both in terms of its size and how much it changed between the beginning of my reactions to now, but the watch time and views sure do reflect it. I went from around 300 watch time hours to 900 from these videos alone, and I suspect that growth will only become more exponential from here, given that I'm going to be switching to a weekly schedule workflow. I made a community post recently which talks a lot about this, for example about monetization, and then as well some other points that I want to make about the state of the channel. Do give that a read and do consider subscribing as well for more updates. I don't ask of this often, but today is such an occasion that calls for it, in my opinion. The TLDR that I want all of you to take away from this is that I am not a family-friendly channel. Do keep that in mind if you end up deciding to watch other videos on my channel or follow me on other social media platforms, all of which you can check out on my website, by the way. Now, with all those housekeeping items out of the way, all that's left to discuss before we get the reaction underway is about the episode set itself, Attack of the Candace suit and Book Flub. Obviously, the first of these 2 is a continuation of the Candace suit episode, where Doofusinator, gonna be honest, I have not kept up with the names of them, hit his potato salad, turning it sentient and aggressive. Doof said he hoped it didn't hit anything disturbing, which it obviously did, and that brings us to now. Then there's Book Flub, which is the only episode for which there were any official teasers up in the later half of Season 5. I know Linda and I believe Candace get geared up with zipline equipment or something like that, and Linda gets into a mishap with the equipment where she's tangled up, I believe. And this is the episode where Candace actually ignores Phineas and Ferb, which will be quite interesting, since we'll get to see some more Linda action as well. I really did my best to not get spoiled today. I did see a few screenshots and a second or so of some video clips, most of which were muted anyway, which isn't too bad. From here on out though, I really need to vocalize my reactions quickly, as my timelines get spoiler flooded without a moment's hesitation on most of the social media platforms I use. All that being said, what a beautiful first world problem to have, and I'm not at all complaining in the grand scheme of things, at least. With that all to set the stage, and the Candace suit, which is now on a rampage, to put a stop to it requires great interdependence. So both me and Season 5B are coming back with a ravenous vengeance. Alright, we should be good to go. Set up the audio correctly. This will be a phone recording for the first minutes, I believe, probably a little less, like anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute or so, of my Phineas and Ferb Season 5, Episode 11 reaction. So, I already described it in the intro. Without hesitation, we play. Let's take a look at what we got here. So, oh wow, intro and then a commercial break. I see what you're, wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. I was so ready. I don't think, have I ever seen a commercial break after a pure intro? I mean, I'll talk about this for a bit. Usually there'd be like an intro clip, then the intro, like a pre-intro clip I should say, then an intro, then commercial. I've never seen just the intro and then commercial. You gotta be kidding me, man. I prepare for this. Even when things go wrong, I do prepare. So, I guess I'll just keep recording till it goes, because I do not want to accidentally skip ahead. Sometimes there's Disney-related commercials right before the show comes back, and it's usually just not a random ad. It'd be like channel-specific ads, but anyways, let's see. This is the one. The next clip will be back to Phineas and Ferb, I can tell you that. Alright, so what do we got? Attack of the Candace suit, okay. So it's not return, it's attack. Buford would consume that entire banana cream. He consumed 5 pies in episode 1. The bananas were back there! Oh, wow! Did Linda just not see that? Hold up.
Don't eat me.
Eat me, huh?
Another ridiculous, humiliating failure.
387 bananas! That's a lot of bananas. Supersized banana?
Let's do it.
Alright. Just walking in normally, huh? Oh. Interesting. Yeah, the obligatory meetings are so obligatory, man. When it comes to things like obligatory meetings, essentially MWCA talked about this on one of their podcast episodes too. It's all about just maintaining the status quo at Alka, where Doofenshmirtz being evil is part of the job, part of the gig. Mandatory meetings that don't need to make sense, constantly needing to be on the clock just to satisfy some arbitrary status quo. That's really what Perry is going through with Alka. I would very much like to see Perry take a stance against some of the more egregious practices of Alka. In their defense with Agent T14, they did do a really good decision there, so there's a nuance there, but when it comes to Perry standing up for Alka, like, Perry will be pushed to his breaking point at some point in the future. I can tell you that right now. Now we get a Candace in anguish. Candace is now just defeated once again. There's something more to what Candace wants when it comes to busting Phineas and Ferb, because she's going more preemptively with busting, more out of the box with busting. It's more proactive and not reactive compared to last summer. There's something more as to why Candace wants to bust Phineas and Ferb, even beyond just whether it's a safety thing, some satisfaction of wanting to get them in trouble. I think acknowledgement and validation, I think the way what Baljeet said puts it best when it comes to Candace. Okay, so Candace in anguish, that hand pose, Ben's hand over the head.
Clearly, he blew me off.
Oh wait, Jeremy, so I gotta go back to listen to this.
I told you this meeting could just be an email.
You could just be an email, Carl! It's just it's teenage melodrama of 15 minutes late, and Stacy is on that call too. In the whole world, one or two. Poor Candace. I was gonna say, why was I saying? Yeah, poor Candace and poor Stacy having to put up with it. So both are true. All right, so we're back now at the regular setup. Unfortunately, it seems as though my scaling talk sprite isn't working as it should. For some reason, the OBS plugin's not working, so instead you're just going to see the icon being stationary or moving about, whichever I decide. Or if I get the scaling talk sprite to work in editing, I'll incorporate that in. Otherwise, not a big deal, we press forth. It happens. So, the point where we left off is Jeremy sweating and continuing to, I imagine, I see the radio on the left-hand side. I've seen this clip quite a lot. Jeremy is the epitome of an overworked teenager. I have been in his position, not doing a performance, but in an environment which can make you quite sweat. It's, I essentially worked as a dishwasher in a health food store for close to 6 years. 2018 to 2024, yes. So technically, I started late October 2018, so I would have been 16 years old at the time, going on 17. Then in 2024, I quit in July 2024. So we are coming up. In fact, actually, I forget the day. I'm going to have to ask about it. I've just about hit the 1 year anniversary, you could say, of me quitting that part-time dishwashing position. So really hits home just how far I've come, how far a person can go in a year. A real testament to that. Anyways, back to the episode. I really do feel for Jeremy here. He's having quite a rough time. So I know what's going to happen in this scene once again because I've played it so much, so I'll just let it play out here. Yeah. In the hot summer sun, dancing. Like, what's the effectiveness of this? In all seriousness. The more time goes on, the more I question these decisions that management makes their employees do. I want to talk about this manager a bit. This manager was more friendly last summer. There were a few episodes where this manager appeared. He was more charismatic. I think there's something that happened between then and now that made him a lot more, I don't know if I want to say stingy, but a lot more just uptight, you could say. Much more rules-driven and much less charismatic are the words that I want to say here. And that honestly can happen. I've had certain professors that progressively get worse over time. Sometimes in the snap of a finger going from friendly and reasonable to questioning what decisions you're making and how they contradict what you've said before. I'm speaking kind of to this professor. And this is a lead professor at the university I go to, by the way. Just completely took a nosedive in terms of respect I had for him, just overnight for some random arbitrary reason, because what he said before contradicts what he thinks now. And that's a hyperinflated ego problem if I've ever seen one. So I imagine this manager underwent the same thing, where sometimes managers can just randomly, for no reason at all, just change on a dime from what your perspective, but something in their psychology, something that happened to them perhaps, some experience they had, it really can just change you quite suddenly, and without proper communication, let's just say a lot of us do know the ramifications. Heat stroke, damn. So, when it comes to heat stroke, you're making another employee do the same thing, and then you're also going to risk Jeremy getting heat stroke. I see how it is, Mr. Slushy Manager.
Now keep dancing! I need to rethink my career trajectory.
Yeah.
Call Candace and explain why I'm late.
And that's why Jeremy's late, and that sucks. Especially when you're told to stay later on, and aren't properly compensated for them. Such is the struggle of working in 2025. We're about to witness Candace suit jump scare, so we have to brace ourselves for it.
Fresh air.
Fresh air? Yeah, you can tell the camera is tilted. You can tell the road is on a slight angle here, and the camera's shifting around, so this is the perspective of the Candace suit. And that combined with the lighting, obviously the lighting is superb in Season 5, as we would all expect. So we'll see how much that lighting keeps up. The beginning of the episode took place during the day. Now it's sunset. So it is some amount of time later. A substantial amount of time.
To be free again.
Zooms in. And then, yeah. And now Candace is face down, feeling down on herself pretty much all day because Jeremy rejected her. So clearly, in terms of Candace's psychology, I talked about how she craves validation from her mom, and that manifests through busting Phineas and Ferb. Because there's something more to her wanting to bust. There's something psychologically deeper. Then being rejected by Jeremy makes pretty much her life, it makes her world miserable, essentially.
Hello? Jeremy? Is this a butt dial?
Butt dial? Oh, man. Oh, that sucks. You could hear Jeremy getting strangled in there, too. Ah, man, that sucks. Condolences to Jeremy. I don't know what the Candace suit is going to do to Jeremy. It consumed Jeremy, I believe. You would imagine a ravenous potato monster. One of those consume everything on sight sort of deals. Something similar is happening here. I think Jeremy just might be trapped. Obviously, they're not going to go more morbid than that, but you get what I mean.
He's out getting food without me. Oh, forget it. Worst life ever.
Aww. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's a frame. That's a better thumbnail frame. I asked for better thumbnail shots. Yes, and this is the one. Oh my god. We got full-on consumption. Sentient suit consuming Jeremy. And Jeremy, I don't know who's pogging harder. Like, surprise prog, sub-pog, if you will. Who's pogging harder? The Candace suit or Jeremy? And then we have a custom title frame, which is great here. A title card, I should say. So, you know it's a super special episode. In fact, the season premiere did not have a custom font like this. They knew that Attack of the Candace suit was going to come out and swing extremely hard. They hit the base swinging, and they hit the ground running, is what I'm trying to say here. Yeah. Oh, it's just that suction, though. Ooh. Well, let's take a look at that suction again. So the top of Candace's head is extending and contracting. I think those are his knees. So if we imagine his knees would go up to here, and then down, his feet would go down here. That's the only thing I can think of, but my word. Yeah. Oh, that's devastating. And then it's just full-on consumption. Oh. And then it can get, interesting. It gains sentience, but it can also feel pain. Because Jeremy bonked the Candace suit head, and now it's feeling its shape. And then it's crawling off. Okay. This is what we're dealing with this episode. They are really pushing the bounds, Dan and Swampy and the crew. The Dwampyverse crew, I should say, in terms of what kind of freaky stuff they can get away with. They're trying, and they're succeeding. Clearly, they're succeeding, because I'm fully invested and thoroughly into this. And then Doofenshmirtz is just walking along with the slushy dog, beyond his third bite, so he's committed. Sometimes there's episodes where characters just make noises a lot. Not necessarily episodes, but some things in media. Just some media shorts where the characters just make noises and don't speak. So it's interesting. Doofenshmirtz is just walking in an alley, just humming to himself in a sunset. And then something behind him is going to... The Candace suits may sneak attack him? Or maybe the Candace suit will miss.
That's you, Perry the Platypus.
And now it's Perry the Platypus. Oh, damn. Yeah, just not doing anything evil. He's just walking down an alley maniacally. Look at that side profile here. There's so many amazing frames, and we know that the fandom is going to harvest each and every one of them. So, not doing anything evil, you say? What about walking in an alley maniacally? That was one of your schemes. That ain't Perry the Platypus. Nope. That's the suit, yes.
If you plan to eat me, I'm all gristle and very gamey. I'm not
Gristle, gamey, not good at all. I don't know what that means. But we do know that both of Doofenshmirtz's arms are solid titanium, some type of metal. We know that there's a lot of metal installed in Doofenshmirtz, even Major Monogram too. I think he said in Summer Belongs to You 30% metal. Just full on mouth consumption. The mouth is half of the head. Very slightly less, I'd say. 40 to 50%. Then it expands, and then Doofenshmirtz gets consumed. So, the Candace suit is just wreaking havoc on anything it encounters. So Jeremy got away, because the suit can feel pain. But, yeah, Doofenshmirtz not so lucky. Excellent shading on the tree. There's a lot of great scenery here. I'm gonna have to play around with things I could do with the thumbnail. I could either do a solid background, or I could do different frame compilations. I've done a mix of both. Some of the thumbnails, I would say, came out super well. Others were, you could tell, were more haphazardly put together. It's not a huge deal. There's some that are objectively better than others, and we'll see what floats my boat. There's some really great scenery here. My word. There comes... and then just swallowed entirely. I wonder if the suit wants to find a host, if you will, and I'm not sure what the implications of that are, where the suit takes a more solid shape, even though it can feel pain. I know we're talking about what objective the suit has, but it could be just an entity run purely on instinct with no specific intention, and that's probably what it is. I don't know why I'm trying to overly psychoanalyze the Candace suit. I really don't. That's just who I am, I suppose. Stop! Stop! There's so many pauses! Just like with the Fireside episode, every freaking frame. One of those episodes, man. So, let's see. Don't eat me. So, okay, now we connect this. Linda said, don't eat me. The Candace suit might eat her. And people might actually think it's Candace. By people, I mean Lawrence. Because Lawrence is... they're writing Lawrence in an interesting way to where he would potentially believe that's the real Candace, given the implications of the way he's written throughout the season.
I got away, but something is out there.
Yeah, here comes Linda. And there's Candace, and let's see if Linda recognizes her. So just strolling along. Just walking in. The shape of the Candace suit looks way less deformed now, actually. I wonder if that's what happens when the Candace suit consumes and takes a host. And then it's Candace, that it's Doof being suffocated. Wow. Remember, this is the same guy that shot Linda with that vaporizinator all the way back in episode 1. What's really great about these new upcoming seasons is you can really flesh out the character interactions, and I wonder if that's going to take place here, or if Doofenshmirtz is just being suffocated wholeheartedly.
You know, I can't understand you when you mutter.
And the mannerism of the Candace suit is eerily similar to Candace in terms of her demeanor and the types of noises she makes that aren't screams and aren't words. Little smile there. What?
Candace!
The suit can speak. Why can the suit speak? And is that having to do with consuming a human? And the suit inherits those traits. I'm really trying to theorize everything, aren't I? And Jeremy is, Jeremy is quite traumatized. It must be quite the experience living in such a town as Danville. Entities coming to life, beams being shot out. I really hope we get an experience where a person is traumatized from their experiences living in Danville and how it mentally affects them. I know they're not necessarily going to tackle some super intense themes and mature themes, of course. This is a family show, and the best kid shows can be watched by everyone, but I will say I prefer the term family show. But when it comes to what Dan and Swampy have been able to achieve thus far, especially with an upcoming episode called The Nightmarinator, they might actually tap into some of those psychological implications, to the psychology, you could say, of many more characters. And I've got a whole spiel I want to talk about when it comes to Finn Bella during that episode, when that episode comes, but that's a conversation for another day. I am talking so much. We are 2 minutes in. We are barely through any of this, man. Yeah, and now, how's Candace going to react? And the suit just comes in on the other side, consuming Doofenshmirtz, and now Doofenshmirtz is actually in the Flynn Fletcher household. and the suit is picking up on tone and language. It's hard to tell without hearing the clip side by side, but I do believe the Candace suit speaking here sounds more like Candace. It's totally valid if you don't hear it. I do, though. Yeah, it's slightly there. It's slightly approaching Ashley Tisdale's cadence, if you will. Interestingly, I wonder who's actually voicing the Candace suit. I feel like Ashley Tisdale could do this impression with a particular low-pitched, nasally, gruntled voice. Not nasally, very throat-oriented voice, I should say. Something like that. Here it comes.
Get away from him, you long-necked freak!
Alright. Alright, and... You know, with that sound effect, let me go back. So both just swooping in. And now it's Candace versus the Candace suit. What's going to happen now? How do we defeat the Candace suit?
Wait, help? Who? Which one is...
Which one's the real Candace? So everyone's going to just not know who the real Candace is. Which one of you is the real Candace? Quick, say something only the real Candace would know. We're gonna get one of those situations. Because when the Candace suit consumes a host, it becomes increasingly like Candace, but it just needs any person to do so. The more I talk about this, I really should tone it down, because the more I talk about this, the more questions there will be than answers.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm with Candace on that one. For now. And now the Backyard Gang. I'm gonna probably just stick to the Backyard Gang, or the Backyard 5, perhaps, something like that. They went with the giant peeler idea. Very nice. And now Jeremy's running out to the backyard. Which one's the real Candace? And now Jeremy's gonna have to explain everything to these 5 in record time, because, yeah. Ooh, the Candace face off in the backyard. The curved perspective of the house, the shading of the sky. It's all beautiful. Oh, it's so good. Let's see if Buford, how long it takes Buford to catch on to what's happening here. Which is the real Candace?
Did you try kissing both of them?
Kissing both of them! Jeremy. Yes. Talking to Jeremy, of course. Okay. Now Phineas and Ferb. Ferb with the interesting eyebrow shape there. Now they're going to come in to see what's what. I think they're going to separate them and see... We'll see what happens from there.
That's what I'd do. Heck, I'll do it right now.
Buford would? How many times am I going to say Buford would? Heck, I'll kiss both of them right now. Oh, man. Buford is unapologetically Buford. They're really super evolving in terms of the character with the most growth, the most sort of development, right from the beginning. From your super stereotypical bully to now, I don't think there's anyone you can say. You probably could if you really looked into the show and really studied the characters. Buford, as I think most of us can agree, at the very least, Buford is very much a top contender for most character development, most character growth throughout the season. Because there have been times, for example, in Summer Belongs to You, where he was quite antagonistic and challenging Phineas's worldview, when he clearly saw that they accomplished quite amazing feats already. I wonder what was going through Buford's head that day. Regardless, they are developing Buford in multiple dimensions now. And now they both separate each other.
There must be some indisputable way
Indisputable.
to determine which...
So that's Doofenshmirtz right here. Keep in mind, this is still Doofenshmirtz. I wonder if actually touching the suits is not actually the best indicator. And that begs the question. That begs a whole Loki-ass tree of questions. Remember, I'm not a family-friendly channel. By the way, I love Loki, so I'm saying that. So you get the tone of which I'm saying that. A whole Yggdrasil, or however you say the tree name, of questions. What did Buford make the suit out of? Because some indisputable way, I think, depending on the material, I think the suits are meant to be quite as human-like as possible. Of course, they're still super uncanny. What is Buford cooking, manifesting, and summoning, perhaps, to his garage?
is the real...
Phineas, Ferb, Ferb, you did this!
They did not. They objectively did not. This is Buford's doing and Dupe's doing. But Candace is now just dumping all of her frustrations, anxieties, insecurities, a ton of them. A lot of them is hyperbolic. But this is average Candace behavior. So it's a constant state of just shifting all the burden, all the blame onto Phineas and Ferb because of Candace's own insecurities.
That's her!
That's her. They all know. Because that's her innate drive to bust. When she speaks about busting, because no one can rival Candace's busting ability. Maybe with the exception of like 1 or 2, maybe max 3 characters. Meep, perhaps, that TV show woman when they built that massive water slide back in season 1. But that's all I can think of. 6 feet tall and slouching. That's accurate to Doofenshmirtz. So why does that make the Candace suit flee once you acknowledge that is a suit? And poor Ferb, by the way. I really hope we do get some more developments with Ferb, because Ferb has a lot more to him than meets the eye. In a good way, of course. And then the peels are coming out, and that'll stop the Candace suit in their tracks. And then Doofenshmirtz just got launched away. And now Doofenshmirtz is going to walk away before they see them. That's Beatrice. So that's the very first suit. So the most uncanny suit. And now Buford recognizes the suit.
I don't remember imbuing the suits with the gift of life.
So what I was saying, like manifesting, summoning, this is what I meant by summoning. I think I'd remember if I did some voodoo magic to bring a Candace suit to life. You'd think I would remember that. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, how many victims is that suit going to claim? Leapt to Isabella with no hesitation. Oh my gosh. Holy shit! Now I'm gonna start swearing more, and I'm not censored, so. I gave you my warning at the beginning of the video, how I want to see Phineas I want Phineas to leap towards helping Isabella at the exact same speed. Let's see what happens here. I'm going back. I'll let you know my top 3 characters are Phineas, Isabella, and Perry, actually. So, I'll probably talk more about why that is at some point in the future. Video essay, Tumblr post, otherwise. But yeah, actions have consequences, stakes are higher, new territories being explored. This might actually be now my longest reaction yet. It'll be quite difficult to top this now, in terms of length. Not necessarily episode quality, but length. There's so much to analyze and dissect here. This will be an episode that I will be coming back to a lot. One of the most memorable of the entire show. We're already there. Oh! Well, so no fear, standing his ground. And he's gonna give that suit one shot, and then Phineas is going to take his.
Get off her!
Ooh, that tone! Ooh, get off her, like that pitch. The get off her. When Phineas said the word get, the sheer adrenaline that spiked in his voice.
It's an abomination.
Ooh. We rarely see Isabella without her bow, which really does signify how it's essential for her style. So, the sister-in-law instincts are absolutely kicking in. We love to see it. And what's Buford gonna do when it comes to dealing with Beatrice? Candace is not having it either, and we love to see it. So the sibling-in-law dynamic, the Finbella dynamic, the nuggets are there. They're bigger than crumbs. I'm calling them nuggets now. Yeah, no, that'll be 2 HP Beatrice.
Before she attacks someone else!
Yep. Isabella's taking charge again. Excellent. And now everyone's off to getting that suit. Ooh. We're not even halfway through. And now that suit's just on the rampage. And now they're all just geared up, ready to go. I love no hesitation from scene to scene. Nothing's artificially inflated. Pacing is great, episode-wise, too, all around. And now we're gonna get our song. An ominous, detective-esque tune. All right, now they're fanning out. Latex skin. So now the lyrics confirm that Buford didn't make it out of latex. Out on its trail. There's Buford. Oh no! Oh, Buford's about to sabotage the whole operation. Oh no. That's no good. Buford has a special intimate connection. I would say an unhealthy connection with Beatrice, to the point where he'd direct the rest of his friends away from actually doing what needs to be done. When I said Buford was evolving and expanding in terms of his character development in multiple dimensions, they do take different shades of morality too. So I was not wrong in saying that. Alright. Can't find it. Now they're fanning out, and now the suit is just swinging and swinging off of the lamppost. So this Candace suit is disturbingly agile. Alright, and now there's random traffic. And now the suit is on the wheel. Makes sense. Makes sense. One of the least strangey things. Ooh, the choreography, though, of the suit. They're off. Alright. Phineas is directing them. Okay. Candace sees it, and now she's off to get it. Alright.
Your reign of terror ends now!
Yeah, you can't really damage the Candace suit in a way you think you can. But Jeremy was able to scare it off by bonking its head. So I don't know if the suit can or cannot feel pain. Ooh! That was a big bonk. That was a very audible trash can clang. Only one Candace. But when Candace fights Candace, is Candace going to consume Candace? And then does that essentially merge the consciousness of the suit with Candace in some capacity? Not fully, but in some capacity.
Is she okay?
So, So Candace said no to Buford in terms of the suit being okay. So did Candace handle the suit? Or did the suit consume Candace and now... Because Candace didn't speak. So I think even I would potentially assume... Let me continue the scene. Now Buford is accusing Candace of killing Beatrice. Is Candace going to speak, though? I think that'll be the deciding factor.
Hilda, you monster! Don't touch me!
No speaking. Alright, so they're all heading out. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The suit did consume Candace, but since the suit consumed that of which the suit derives from... Oh, I'm so trying to vocalize everything with this. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. We are 40 minutes in to the recording, and now we're here. This is going to be one of the longest... Like, it would be pretty hard to top this as the longest one apart from the special. But oh my gosh, we have so much here. So much here. Now the suits and Candace are 1.5 in some capacity. They're not fully the same, but yeah.
A perfect fit.
Okay, a perfect fit. I wonder who voices that. And now the suit not only takes over Candace's life, but Candace bears witness to every facet of it too. So now, different in a good way. Not trying to bust the boys because Candace can't do anything. And now the suit is... I wonder what the motives behind the suit are, because it's not purely just instinct. There's something more cognitive, methodical about this. Something very interesting is happening here. Candace is struggling, and now they're all playing cards. The mannerisms, though. Ooh. So, starting to sound a little more like Candace, but obviously the voice coming from the throat is still a distinct giveaway for the audience, but... But now we're just gonna get a compilation of everything.
Kangaroo.
The suit's learning, like, feeding off the psychology Some really disturbing implications here, where this suit, if it consumes you, it can mooch off your psychology and learn more about you in that capacity. Something really ominous about that invention of Doofenshmirtz's. I forgot the name. Again, once again, not good with the Nader names. I was gonna say something else. Let's see if I remember. Oh yes, it's great that they do casual activities too, and they understand the importance of not everything has to be grand and spectacular. They do deserve downtime. Alright. So Bangaroo. So now it's learning how to speak more like Candace. Now Candace is stuck in there. Still struggling? Candace is trying to break out of the suit.
BRB, gonna help the boys.
And Jeremy figured it out, though. So...
Where'd you go?
Where'd you go? Alright, and now Jeremy told the rest of them, and they all spring into action. I love how there's no more hesitation as to who is or isn't the real Candace. They did that at the beginning. It's funny. You harp on it, though, and you lose the plot, in my opinion. And it just becomes a 30-minute, why do they not believe... I can't believe you didn't believe me the whole time, train wreck. And the writers really do know how to carefully execute certain tropes and certain phenomena when it comes to storytelling, both quality and quantity. A perfect, delicate, multi-dimensional balance between them. So now the suit is being lured, and they're going to, trap the suit and unpeel. They utilize the unpeeling invention to get the suit out of Candace. Got him. Got him. Help the boys. Okay. Help the boys. That's your gravest mistake. Assuming that Candace wants to help them without an ulterior motive. What does that say about the show as a whole? Like the whole ethos of the show. Oh my gosh. Help the boys.
It attacked, trapped.
Finish.
Oh, Baljeet is so done. Baljeet with the flamethrower just goes so hard. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. And Buford's going to protect Beatrice because Buford has a special connection. But Baljeet, I love Baljeet being able to still stand up for himself when it comes to Buford in a unique way that we haven't seen before. That's it for this suit. I hope Buford takes this lesson to light and understands that it's time to move on. And perhaps not every calling that calls you is worth answering. Hope that makes sense. You could argue the suit took Isabella's, and Doofenshmirtz's, and Jeremy's. Very, very much. He may have a point, so Isabella's does understand Buford, so that's interesting. But.
I can speak a little Candace.
Obviously Buford can speak a little Candace suit. So, how do we come to terms with negotiating and reasoning with the suit, who started their existence off purely based on instinct, but then grew intellectual mannerisms over time? Gained sentience, gained human-like qualities from consuming the humans? What will happen with this suit is quite the important question, I must say.
My first memory is waking up, alone and limp and cold. I was an empty shell, literally.
Empty shell.
Got all that from...
Darling.
They really had fun with the voices. Isabella has never honestly sounded better than she does in season 5. The range on her voice, the range of everyone else's voice, Buford's voice, great. The fact that they've all matured, obviously the voice actors, the fact that they're all still around, setting this a year later, especially right around that time of entering adolescence, it really strengthens the vocal range of a lot of the main cast, especially the Backyard Gang. Seeking connection. So that's all to seek in connection, and the only way that a suit knows to seek connection is through consumption. So in this way, you empathize with the suit more. Genius. Yeah. 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 Trying filling yourself with garbage, it makes you only feel like garbage. To fit in, yeah. All a matter of filling in. Ooh, perfect frame where the suit is entirely flush with the bus and then gets just slaughtered. Ooh. A human host, yes. And the suit believes Candace has everything, and Candace is going to realize she has much more than she gives herself credit for.
She's right. I've been taking my life for granted.
I'm very glad Candace is coming to the realization. Will she take this lesson to heart, or will she forget it the next episode? How long do we want to keep the show running?
And I'm sorry for wanting to destroy you.
And then consuming Ferb! And a part of those human-like qualities are deception. Because some humans are quite deceptive and manipulative. When it comes to humanity, you gotta take the whole range of it. Ah! Poor Ferb really has it rough this episode. Ferb is, in some ways, Ferb sometimes, even though we see he's quite a class act, he's also, unfortunately, kind of a punching bag a bit in the show a few times. Not constant. Maybe a part of him feels like he might be living in Phineas' shadow, but then he turns into a beacon of light and hope, quite often too. But Ferb is sometimes casted into the sidelines too. I think the best example is The Beak, where he said there's no glory in thighs. So, a lot of respect for Ferb. Might be in my top 5 best characters, but wow. Oh my god, holy moly. Get Ferb out. Yeah. Alright, Baljeet, come on. What's gonna happen now? We tried reasoning with the suit, but now we don't even know if we can trust the suit to keep their word.
Step aside. We're not using the flamethrower.
Alright, so Isabella's calming Baljeet down. No flamethrower. So how are we going to deal with this suit then? What knowledge does Buford have? We gotta tap into Buford's psychology in the Nightmarinator and dig for some of those answers, man. Empty and alone? Empty and all alone, who is it? And no. I did see a screenshot, or like a very quick clip. One of them was of Klimpaloon. But given that we see the snow, a part of me would have guessed that anyway, I feel. So now they're just here. And now, what do we call this ship, if we're going to call it a ship? They're sentient pieces of wearable attire. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. We know that there's going to be ship art. Let's just acknowledge that as a reality. I'm not making a moral judgment on it. I'm just saying it as it is. So they're enamored. What did I say? What did I say? Shipping. Come on. They know the fandom. They know the ships. They know what to do here. We are almost an hour into this recording. And now they're going to head towards each other. They can find Klimpaloon quite easily. Oh, look at that. So now, they're going to come together. But is the suit just going to swallow Klimpaloon? And are we going to get another boomerang, curveball, whatever you want to call it, just thrown at us and just lobbed, whipped straight at the dome? All right, they're going to hug.
I've never felt so seen.
So seen. Okay. They hugged. The ship is real. They will not consume each other. Maybe consensually, if they're into that. Which, good for them. They look great in these. They look great in these winter outfits, by the way. I love the color variety. In the Klimpaloon Ultimatum, I had a tongue twister there. They all wore quite the same clothing. Jeremy wasn't in the picture. I really do like the color variety of all their winter outfits. It's great. I'm really glad that they're able to experiment with outfit designs.
Perhaps they are suited for each other after all.
Nice, Ferb. And it ends like that. Okay. Oh my gosh, we need a break. Holy moly. Attack of the Candace suits now takes the cake for the absolute longest amount of time I spent on recording for a reaction in the season. What could Book Flub offer? And how lopsided are the timestamps going to be for this episode? What a long episode and a super juicy reaction for you all when it comes to all this. Thoughts on the Candace suit? Equally as disturbing, with a lot more character development and dynamics. So it's just a leveled up version of the Candace suit, pretty much. One of the best episodes of the season. Some people will say it's creepy, disturbing, gross, makes them uncomfortable. I respect that. I've never been much of a horror person growing up. I've started to appreciate the horror elements more, and have warmed up to them over the years, and I do like when writers play around with horror and tastefulness and throw in character dynamics, character developments, and so much more. Everything I said was what needed to be said. With how long I spoke about the Candace suit, that could essentially be my review. And that concludes the first half of today's gourmet feature presentation. I don't know what to expect at all, other than some ziplining equipment and some mishaps with such equipment. And then, from here on out, after Book Flub, I have no clue what to expect for any episode moving forward, which is great because there's more to comment on and more to say. Alright, so now they're stacking soup cans. Phineas and Ferb, very nice. Ooh! Spelling letters within the Eiffel Tower. So what's happening here? Phineas and Ferb are building an Eiffel Tower out of cans of beans? Soup. Why did I forget soup? I have bean soup sometimes, so could be both. Mom, Phineas and Ferb. And now Linda is focused on reading while shopping. That actually looks less practical than even just being on your phone while shopping. Like, reading a book while shopping with one hand is, in my opinion, more difficult. Good to see that the groceries are now a reasonable size. I don't know what Bubba Doof episode was in terms of the optical illusions and the scaling of this world. Linda's head was the size of a loaf of bread. I'm glad they've brought the scaling back, only to then go topsy-turvy with the scaling again. Maybe the first perspective influence went beyond just the backyard and into the whole town, which means the supermarket included. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, guys. Not paying attention. So now, if Linda's not paying attention, Candace has gotten more strategic. I've said this before. Using that to her advantage. All of it.
We're having chocolate donuts for dinner.
Sounds good.
Chocolate donuts for dinner sounds good, yeah. So Linda is chronically distracted, head in the clouds sometimes. You could argue Lawrence is too, in his own way. So in their own special way, they are good for each other. Let me see the title. The lengthiest and most thorough adventures of Lord Ramblington. So, a lot of rambling. Hopefully I'm not doing that, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying this reaction. I've genuinely had so much to say, but more on that at the end, because I will have some thoughts at the end.
But if we're having donuts, let's get the glazed ones too.
The glazed ones too.
Linda
All right.
Fletcher.
Samantha Sweetwater.
Okay, we got some world building. I saw a screenshot with Addison in there, one of the Fireside Girls. We're actually seeing Addison without her Fireside hat. Are they going to finally start expanding on the outfit variety of the Fireside Girls? It's a start. And we got Addison's mom. We got some world building, and they seem to know each other. Let's take a look. Samantha Sweetwater. Okay, cool.
Hello, Addison.
So Addison's going to help Phineas and Ferb? Cool. Cool. Excellent. We love more connections being made. Okay, so... yeah.
Oh, there's always a way, Linda.
Always a way, huh?
You just need to focus. The book is down here.
Alright. Not a good first impression of Addison's mom. I think those qualities quite rubbed off on her in Lord of the Firesides. Huh. There's always a way. The book's down there. Keep reading. I don't know about that.
I feel terrible saying this.
Do it.
Do it. Alright. Is Linda gonna stand up for herself? Not a good first impression for one of the mothers. Oh, quite relatable, I must say, in terms of people having to deal with quote-unquote thought leaders I assume Samantha Sweetwater being the leader of the book club, I presume. I think her ego outweighs her emotional intelligence. And her IQ might be up there, but her EQ, I would say, kinda isn't. At the very least. Spill the tea. So, what would be the runtime of that movie, though? Oh, damn. Are we gonna get some Samantha in hot water? Is that what's happening here? Trying out your movements. Yeah, so Candace is a seasoned veteran at this point, so anytime anyone needs busting, this is why. I think now Candace is becoming more of an equal opportunity buster, and I think when it comes to fulfilling some sort of sense of justice, I don't know why she gets that from busting Phineas and Ferb, given all that they've been through together. There's something like more specific there. And it's kind of separate, but kind of not at the same time, intersectionality and all that, where Candace wants validation from her mom and she uses the boys as an outlet for it, because she craves fulfilling that sense of justice, as Meep said, which I do believe is a core part of her character. There's more to her than that, and there's more about busting than that. But Candace seeing an equal opportunity bust, this is why she will table and shelf busting the boys, because she still thinks it's a lost cause, but still tries to pursue it anyway. She's getting more successful at busting others, though. Let's take a look. Who cares? Okay, and look at them. Look at them go. All right, we got a different ship. When it comes to who Ferb can be paired with, because Ferb is a class act, he can get with anybody, pretty much. He has that special charm. So now Addison is just chilling with the boys, and Addison and Ferb are just placing that banana right on top of that, what is that, lettuce and tomato and pineapple? And this is an interesting split. I don't know if this is a lemon or a banana. It could be either or. Same color, so that's fine. I like that they're all hanging out together. And now we have a lot more world building and character dynamics, as said before. We're seeing new bonds forming. Literally just take a single actual frame and you spawned a ship. That's just how fandom works. I know I say ship, and you might think, why is this guy talking about ships? Well, as someone who critically examines fandom, you see it, you give the material, one frame is all that the fandom needs for someone to make it a ship that they very much make an integral part of their social media presence. Nothing wrong with it. Important to be respectful when it comes to it. Let's go.
Looks like you have 16 items in the 15 items or less lane.
Oh, you're one of those. So the way I would go about this, if I had 16 items and there was in a 15 item lane, I would personally not go to that lane, but to tell others is not something I would do. Absolute just snarky, petty, dang. You can't obviously be worse than Doofenshmirtz's mom. One of the more morally worse moms that we've seen in the Dobbyverse. I would say she's second worst thus far from what we've seen.
Linda?
Yeah. What are you trying to pull, lady? Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Busted.
Ooh, so someone else trying to bust Linda. Now we're going to get into some mom feud. And I think there were mentions of Charlene. So are we going to get some mom team-ups? Or is Charlene just going to appear at the end? And now Linda is on board with Candace's plan.
I will do whatever you say.
Yeah. So now the bond between these two will strengthen when it comes to the urge to bust someone who actually deserves it. I really do hope that one of the blossoming characteristics of Candace's character is that she gets more successful with busting other people who do deserve it. There's still a separate conversation about why she really likes busting Phineas and Ferb, but it's clear that the episode will focus on Candace and Linda, especially. All right, busting 101. Now we have math. This recording's long enough. I'll spare you with analyzing math. I'm not doing that. Well, I'm just gonna nip that right in the bud right there. 6-step plan. Let's go. All right, so excited to spend the whole day because they really want to get back at Samantha Sweetwater. And that's because there's a higher probability of success and completely ignoring the boys. Once Candace goes into busting mode, she does have that one-track mind. The fact that that one-track energy is going to someone else, I don't think she'll actually care about what the boys are making at all. Maybe she'll snap out of it at the end of the episode, but for now, let's enjoy this while it lasts. And that is also a super compelling reason as to why Candace is super one-track minded as well. Because Candace is in charge and she actually will tell Linda to do whatever in relation to sticking it to Sweetwater. She has control, she likes control, she has control. Putting any ounce of energy towards busting Phineas and Ferb makes her lose that control. Yeah, another blown away. Bust is a broom, okay.
I need you to take this seriously, Mother. Now raise your right hand. You're going to take the busting oath.
So Linda told Candace to raise her right hand in an episode. I forget which one. Now Candace is doing the same to Linda, following suit.
I do solemnly swear. Come on, Mom.
Construction equipment is loud. Too many distractions. So, her one-track mind, really interesting. Man, we're going to psychologically explore so much later on this season. Oh my gosh. This episode set might actually be a close call in terms of will I be able to get this out in time. There is so much here. Holy moly. Too many distractions, so Candace will not attempt to bust the boys at all. It's clear. Yeah. Busting basics, dang. Whole camouflage bag. And now this is where they go on their expedition. Camping, hiking equipment, zip lining, all that. Yeah, here we go. Alright. They're off. And then... Okay, and then Perry's just straight at it. What even is going to be the Perry plot? Perry wasn't even... Wait a second! Doofenshmirtz was just walking in an alley, got consumed, that's it. He took a stroll. Doofenshmirtz wasn't doing anything. We never followed up on that. We never saw Perry for the rest of the episode. He did appear, though. So technically, he has still appeared, I believe, in every single episode of Phineas and Ferb thus far. But damn, he was the closest to not appearing that he's ever been in an episode. So what's Perry going to be doing? Because we don't even get a mission briefing either. So Alright, so Phineas and Ferb are just doing something inflatable. There's not really anything to discuss there. Okay. Alright, so now that Candace can drive, she is going to be a natural at it.
Step 1 is intel.
Look as if it's been read. The way you can tell books that I've read, you might crucify me for this, I sometimes do dog ear books. I have done that in the past. I definitely don't do that nowadays, but sometimes in the past I have dog-eared books. And then there's also those clippable bookmarks. I'll flash one up on screen, if possible, where there's essentially a little flap at the top of the bookmark that you can insert into a book. While I really like the design of them, the reality is they sometimes dig into the pages and they tear out the pages. So that's how you can tell a book's been read when the certain pages get deformed. So it has to look red. That's what a book that looks red meant. To wear and tear. It's the natural order of it. No votes! No votes! Archery lesson? Addison and Candace are on a seesaw. Okay. What's happening here?
On Thursdays, I have archery lessons at noon. My mom drives me.
Cool story, Addison.
Why are they on a seesaw? Just, we're gonna have some really unorthodox character interactions, and I'm all here for it. We had Vanessa and Buford, we have Candace and Addison. Yeah, any combo you can think of, there's a probable chance that it'll get into the episode here. They all know each other. It's a matter of when, and not if. And if they don't know each other already, they will eventually. One of the best written shows of all time. Add another entry onto the long, long list of reasons why I love Phineas and Ferb. The more I think about it, the greater this universe can expand. Like, the possibilities increase as they write ideas, not decrease. They come up with ideas. Guacamole. Granted, I think Phineas and Ferb, either this is Doofenshmirtz's doing or Phineas and Ferb's doing. I don't know. Let's see. Yes, Mom? Alright, so yeah, Doofenshmirtz is just a lot of food-based schemes in this season. I know it's just straight into the action. So they're really playing around with the runtime. They're trying to keep a balance, not necessarily on an episode by episode basis, but just on a season by season basis, where they're giving equal opportunity representation. By allocating bigger chunks of time to certain sets of character dynamics and alternating who has the dominating dynamic of the episode, you really can exponentially flesh out characters more at a rate you couldn't do before. There are some great episodes that do have a nice balancing of both in the episode, but this is a brilliant new direction to take the show, and this is a core component of what I imagine the seasons will be moving forward, because there is so much you can do when you operate under that paradigm. Let's go. So just guacamole being shot everywhere. Perry comes in, and that's it. Are they not going to have speaking lines at all? It's all just action for them. Yeah, it's all just point food. Okay. It's just going to be pure Candace and Linda this episode. There we go. Camouflaging, army equipment, guacamole.
Make use
Yes.
of your surroundings. Keep up, Mom.
Okay.
Okay, Sweetwater let us know she likes to read outside and...
Outside. Now they're just at the Sweetwater house and they're just doing their investigation. We have a bookmark here. Just a standard, regular... I was going to say no strings attached, but there is a string attached. No clippable bookmark. So why am I harping on a bookmark? I don't know. I'm just yapping about a ton of stuff because I'm that invested. This is going to be a feature-length film in its raw recording state. I'm going to trim down the editing a lot, but damn, there's so much here. Holy moly. You and your phone! Here we go. Double binoculars. We're bringing back the double binocular action from the Haberdasher. Very nice, very nice. Yeah. Distractions. The book. The book! The book! Okay. Samantha, you got some explaining to do. You're barely an eighth in and you want to come in with that ego? Nah. Pack up Samantha. Samantha Sweetwater, more like Samantha, send her down the river. Obviously proportional punishment to the crime. And it's not a crime.
So we know she hasn't read it.
The flow of that, the way she was shaking her head in anticipation and joy and just sheer vigor, amazing. I love it. Yes, she has. All of them are incredibly skilled in a ton of ways. Ways we mere mortals have yet to comprehend.
Thanks. I've had a lot of practice.
A lot of practice, yes.
Candace is...
And Irving gets his first line! Yay! Candace's mom? What are you doing here? But why is Irving here at Addison's? So Irving just comes in with a line. Okay, throw in Irving. Why not? What do I even say at this point? Hold on. Is this Baljeet's house? Then Addison? Then Irving? Man, a lot of the kids really do live close to each other. They really do.
Irving, keep quiet. Wait, that treehouse could be a good vantage point.
Vantage point. Is Irving going to allow them into his treehouse? I think he will.
You, Irving, you're on the team.
On the team.
Finally!
Woo! Okay, that fit though. What am I gonna put in the thumbnail? There's too much to put in the thumbnail. Do I go full throttle? I might go full throttle with the Candace suit and try to really up the stakes of that, but damn, if that wasn't the case, I would put in balanced variety when it comes to this, but I gotta pledge my allegiance to the Candace suit with how much I did with that. How much is there left? There's 7 minutes left. We're over an hour, 24 minutes in. We are so in this. Reactions are blossoming. Fruits. Irving just has the costume and now they're going up. A little intense. You don't know the half of it, Linda. A little Linda. And now they're just shooting each other again. Yeah, I've talked at length about Perry, and Perry had his time to shine. Very little doof backstory. I do think that the writers are really not going to describe Doof much in terms of like any deep tragic backstories yet this season, because he had quite large representation in Milo Murphy's Law. So they've dialed back Doofenshmirtz. I think Doofenshmirtz has probably the least development so far. Not necessarily a bad thing. This, what we're seeing between Doof and Perry, is giving me just chibi-verse energy. There's not really much to say here. Yeah. Just wreaking havoc. Perry with the chip. Flipping over. That's it. Yeah, not much to say here. Hover car time. Flying away.
I was just perusing my scrapbook of every invention you're...
Yeah, that's great, Irving.
It's right there, ripe for the taking. But she's so hooked on one-track mind busting because she knows that even when opportunities are presented right to her, and honestly, I actually agree with Candace more on this. Anything that seems like an obvious bust, given what she's been through, I would honestly feel the same in her shoes about it being too good to be true. So she's focusing her energy entirely elsewhere and really trying to secure at least another successful bust under her belt. Because she already took on Mitch, bye-bye Bozo, pack it up, send that son of a Mitch packing. Now we're going to bust Samantha, sweep her down the river. Obviously proportional again. Oh, wow. Balloon gets the guy thing. Okay, so even she doesn't know. I wonder who. So, now Linda's getting distracted by the boy's invention that Candace is going to try snapping her back into focus. So, they're really leaning into Candace ignoring Phineas and Ferb. Like, hook, line, and sinker. Like, actively one-track minded somewhere else. So, very intense ignoring. Get your arms. Here comes the equipment. There we go. Ooh, grappling hook. Yeah, they're just commando styling right into the Sweetwater backyard. The 6 eyes of busting. We're on number 2. How long has it been since we were on number 1? Intel. I didn't even talk about the first eye of busting. I'm not even going to. Intel infiltrate. You can read it. You can parse it together yourselves. This is Candace's workflow. We're gonna let her just speak her stuff. Infiltrate.
Now what? Step 3, investigate.
Investigate. So now we're going down there.
This is probably illegal.
Yeah, they're breaking into a backyard. Candace is very much, though she seems to be lawful good, and she ended up becoming a lawyer, she aims to be lawful good. I don't know, would I see her as chaotic neutral? Or lawful neutral? Maybe, like, oscillating between the two. Similar, I guess, in a way, not entirely, obviously, to Undyne from Undertale, where she both works for the King's Guard and is chaotic, so she oscillates very rapidly between lawful and chaotic good.
These roses really do look
The
good.
rose is really red.
Artificial?
Artificial. Oh no. Samantha Sweetwater, send her down the stream. One bus at a time, so she's now becoming a more one-track mind. All right, here comes. What's now? They're back? You gotta get him out! Dinosaurs. Rescheduled. How does Irving know?
My Thursday art
All right, Addison and Irving are on a swing set, so yeah.
lesson
that
got
gets it.
rescheduled.
Cool story, Addison.
I'm glad Irving has respect from the Fireside Girls. I do want to have some good faith interpretations of Irving. While he is quite the obsessed fan, or at least he was in a previous year, I feel he's really going to have some quite underrated character developments. Looking forward to seeing it in future episodes.
Let's reel her back in.
Reel her back in. They're coming in.
What do I do now? Step 4, improvise.
Improvise! Ooh, okay. So this is where she'll get stuck, because they're trying to evade being seen. Hey, we got a rap song, yes. Line is slacking, no momentum. Reel back in. Yep, it's so good. Candace and Irving are spitting bars. Now we're getting a Candace and Irving dynamic now. Wow. Awkward. And now the archery lessons are happening here. But Addison clearly needs some skills refinements, as you can see. She'll get there. I trust in her. Ooh, the double twos. I want to see that again. She just wanted 2. Look at that. Holy moly. I'm screenshotting that too. Ooh. Hide behind. Irving still document. Irving is quite the multitasker. Will document every single one of their inventions. Ooh. Stuck on a zipline. And now they're trying to get Linda out of the zipline because of all this. Wait. Yeah.
Body weights. Run!
Get him out! Get out! Can we pass the window? Movie schedule! Alright. Here we go. How's this all going to end? And now Irving's a part of it too. Awesome. Add a seventh eye. Irving's the seventh eye. I'm at a loss for words with much more I can say, like, in my afterthoughts. There's not going to be any afterthoughts. I'm just going to end it right when the episode's done. I've said everything that I needed to say. This entire episode's going to be its own review length too. Oh my gosh. Golden. Alright, let's see. What was that? Miss Sweetwater or Mrs. Sweetwater put in there? Candy whips. Okay, just a snack to the theater. Yeah.
Smuggling in her own candy.
Smuggling in.
Who is this woman?
Who is this woman? Honestly, me and my friends, we bring in snacks to the theaters quite a lot. We're not spending money on popcorn. I don't view that as a big deal. I think I would say that less theaters care about quote-unquote smuggling in snacks than ever before. It's not as big of a deal as it used to be. We're so back! Now we got this. More slapstick. Yeah. Out comes the button, and they fall down. Alright. So now Phineas and Ferb are at the auto sale. Marketing gimmick. And now they're not going to speak at all either, Phineas and Ferb. It's really a tasteful artistic decision to have certain characters, even if they could have a few lines, if they don't have a substantial role, can you do the same thing without speaking at all? Really interesting decision that they make here. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm neutral, ambivalent about it, mixed feelings, whatever you want to say. It could go either way. I'm quite malleable on that point, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Now we go to the theater. That being there is not really bustable. Again, when it comes to the list of bustable inventions, that's quite low on the list of things that are bustable. So Candace isn't really losing out on much with Phineas and Ferb's invention today. So really, I would agree with Candace. This is not busting potential. I'm glad she actually knows this. I don't know if she knows what they're doing, but there have been times where Candace has deemed what they invented to be not busworthy. The only thing I can think of is in, I believe, the episode Cranius Maximus, where she called an electric bike helmet lame and then invited Stacy, or asked Stacy if she wanted to go to the pool. So there is a threshold of what she can and can't bust, but it's not really a super strong gauge. That said, this episode strengthened that threshold of hers. Okay, here we go. Suit up. Newspaper's down. Irving's with them, got the mustache. And they all have mustaches.
It's busting time!
Here we go.
I like your enthusiasm, but you gotta keep your head in the game.
Head in the game.
Sometimes things can go...
Come on.
Uh-oh. Are they going to fail the bust? And then Candace is going to have to console her mom. I kind of want them to be successful more than I want that. So we'll see.
Okay. Jeez, am I like this?
Am I like this? Yeah. All right. Am I like this? The realization when you see your own qualities manifested through someone else. Well, lengthiest and most thorough adventures of Lord Ramlington. Yeah, it should be the same title. Yes. All right. Now they're just crashing in. Okay. They're hugging each other out of fear. And they're back to fighting. Such is their dynamic. Explode that. Hover car coming clutch. Just to curse you. And then it's out. And then the guacamole blasts up. And now it's back. There it is. Out comes Perry. Alright, just oh, there you are, Perry line. Okay. Cool. Alright. So we're gonna get a conclusion to this, thank goodness. Not a lot of people in the theater, I think. Is it just her? It's a few. There's okay. Dr. Hirano, Charlene, yeah. No, it's all the moms. Okay, yeah. All of them are here. None of them read the book. Oh, no. No one is attempting to read the books. Barely anyone is. I think Linda's probably the most dedicated. It's all the moms. So, Samantha Sweetwater, Dr. Hirano, Biffany Van Stom. I don't know Jeremy's mother's first name. I know she goes by Hawkeye Johnson, as she is a markswoman, I believe. She shot a hairy orange Doofenshmirtz. And then there's Charlene Doofenshmirtz here. That's all of them. Now, yeah. So this is what I was expecting was going to happen. There were two options for the way I thought this would go. And then they threw in a third. So yes, they did throw in that curveball and whipped it straight at my dome.
I'm ready.
Yeah. This isn't going to pan out the way I think it is what I'm trying to say. Sticky and then Sabotage. The lights, and they're all here. Yeah, they're all here. So, Baljeet and Vivian. It's Baljeet's mom. I really don't know Baljeet's mom's names, but Vivian is here too. It's all the moms, every single one of them. The mothers of the characters, they're all just here with the movie, and they have the book. So, yeah, something else entirely. That's what the texts are for. Granted, she did still have a decent bit of an attitude at the supermarket, so yeah. No, but no one could finish the book. But the way she was talking to Linda implicated otherwise, so yeah. Yeah.
But.
Poor Linda.
Get our texts, Linda. Did you come here to cheat? You are so bad.
And then it got... No, she was trying to investigate why everyone else was, so... Yeah, but it's all gonna get just turned back on Linda, and then it's gonna be...
Yeah, I deserve that.
I deserve that. Okay. Well, she accepts it, but I personally don't think I would in that situation, given the attitude she had in the supermarket. My mustaches. Lord Ramlington. Alright. Playing with the bit. Irving turns back on the projector.
A wonderful day, hun.
This
you
episode
really
does repair their relationship together. It doesn't really make up for the way she treated Candace. When it came to the deconstructing Doof episode, this doesn't make up for it, but it's a step in the right direction, and a pretty substantial one at that. The boys. Yeah, the movie's starting. Okay.
Step 6. Inevitable failure.
Yeah, okay. And Irving's just chilling on her too with everyone else. Okay. Is the book better though? Interesting question. Never read the books. Okay. Oh my gosh, the seesaw gag. This is where you can repeat a gag and just insert different characters, and you can do so much. Buford and Baljeet were on a seesaw too in the other book episode. There's little connections here that a decent amount of people wouldn't get on their first watch, and definitely some have been flown over my head. But the seesaw gag, there's a connection between seesaws and books twice, which means if I had a nickel for moving on.
I never read the book.
Okay.
Cool story, Addison's mom.
Cool story, yeah. And then it ends with the freeze frame there, and then that's it. Okay, I'm done. Oh my gosh! Gosh! I've said everything I needed to say. Let's play out this credits theme. I'm probably just going to keep it muted. Just let it out. Jeremy was able to bonk the suit's head and then ran away. There's not much. Okay, so it's just a compilation of all the Candace suit scenes, pretty much. And it's going to end... They're playing the... Yeah, I also was... Wow. The what might have been instrumental too. I'm glad I actually played out this. A part of me would have been kicking myself had I missed this detail, but I did see this mentioned that there was a what might have been instrumental piece at some point in these episodes. So it makes sense for the credit sequence. I'm Candace. What are we watching tonight? Take your pick, episode 1 or episode 11. Which came in swinging harder? Episode 11 had the elements of surprise. And that's the advantage that episode 11 had when it came to the Candace suit. Then Book Flub was quite an interesting episode too. I've said all the thoughts that I've wanted to say. Super simple outro, the longest reaction. We're at 1:47. This is going to be probably over an hour long of a reaction. I'm not sure how much I'm going to trim this down, but holy crap, y'all are in for an absolute treat. Y'all have consumed absolute treats by the time you're watching this part of the video, if you've made it to the end. I'm really curious to see how long everyone will stick around, how audience retention will be. I'm really interested in seeing the metrics there, and I haven't ever been interested in that until now. I am super grateful that all of you have helped make this possible. Watch time is going to be through the roof. This video might account for like 4 or 5 episodes worth of watch time, unironically. That's how ludicrously batshit insane this episode has been. With all that said, take care, much love, stay safe, good luck staying sane, and peace out.